You're listening to Wellbeing Connection, the CMHA Manitoba and Winnipeg podcast. I'm your host, James Wellsman.
The Canadian Mental Health Association, Manitoba and Winnipeg, wishes to acknowledge that we are gathered in Treaty 1 territory at the crossroads of the Anishinaabe, Métis, Cree, Dakota, Ojibwe nations, and on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe peoples and the homeland of the Métis Nation.
This past weekend, 4 incredible, brave, and inspiring mental health champions completed the 3:30 Ride Challenge for CMHA Manitoba and Winnipeg's Ride Don't Hide 2021. They rode from Hecla to Selkirk Provincial Park and back, 330 kilometers, representing the 330 branches of CMHA across Canada, and most importantly, the $330 it requires to get one person in the mental health system to be able to get the care that they deserve.
None of the content in this podcast is intended to replace the advice given to you by your medical team. If you are in crisis, please phone the Manitoba Suicide Prevention and Support Line at 1-877-435-7170 or text CONNECT to 686868 for the Kids Help Phone.
Welcome, everyone. I'm here with Brandon and Emily Potter. Emily, would you mind introducing yourself to our audience?
Okay, so I am currently a professional basketball player over in Europe. So usually I spend about 8 months a year living in Europe in different countries, and I'm home during my off season. So right now is my off season where I get to, enjoy being home and not have a job and, do different fundraising activities. What I really love to do in my off season or coach camps with, younger athletes. And this is my third year. I just finished up my third year being a professional where it's my job. Before that, I did the college thing. I played in the NCAA in the States for 5 years. But I was born and raised in Winnipeg, and of all, the places I go and live, I always, love coming back here and giving back, to my community that way. I've also been involved with the Canadian national team since I was in high school as well. So at different points over my career, playing in tournaments and games and training camps with them. So that's something that's, definitely been a highlight of my career.
I've gotten to meet such cool people with this podcast. If you listen to a previous episode, there's someone who ran 241 kilometers in one go. So Brandon and Emily just completed the Ride 330 challenge for Ride Don't Hide 2021. And first of all, I just want to wish my sincere congratulations for completing this monumental task that means so much to so many people. So I want to leave it to Brandon.
Me and Emily here, we're representing our siblings today. That's the kind of the fun piece, hard to kind of sometimes gather everyone together. But so we're going to get a bit of a recap from both Emily and I about sort of how it went. And I think it was, from my perspective, such an awesome experience to participate, and really just such an amazing team that came together to make this happen. And so maybe Emily, let's just... first of all, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here. Let's even start and dive into your story a little bit. I'd love to for you to share a little bit about why you have participated in Ride Don't Hide. You're a bit of an alum previously. This isn't your first go at a big ride like this, so you're kind of I want to call you a bit of a ride veteran at this point. But can you tell me a little bit about why you wanted to join Ride Don't Hide and sort of your Ride Don't Hide experiences previously?
Yeah, I think my first experience with Ride Don't Hide was 2018. And, I was an ambassador then. My sister did the ride, and we did, the classic Ride Don't Hide meeting downtown and riding through the city. And 2018 was kind of when I first really started getting involved with mental health and different initiatives. And then last year with the pandemic, decided to do our own little ride, me and my sister, and do 140 kilometers from Winnipeg to Lactabonnie, just outside, just to where our lake home was. So 140 kilometers in one day. So I don't know if that makes me a ride veteran.
I think it does, because when we were talking about this, I've been riding a little bit, but as soon as I heard that you did 140 kilometers on a mountain bike and gel seats, I thought we'd have quite a team coming together for this. So I think anybody that can ride 140 kilometers on a mountain bike, it's a pretty big feat, because it probably would have taken a little bit longer than what the speeds that we were cruising at over this last weekend.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a lot slower last year and a lot more painful, but it was a good, learning experience, and we were super proud of accomplishing that last year and then bringing that into this year. It was so much more enjoyable this year, and to have a group of people doing it all together, for the same cause. Honestly, me and my sister talked about it, and it was kind of like a vacation. We got to go away for the weekend. We got to see some great stuff, and it was fun along the way. I didn't, dread any part of it, and I wasn't. Yeah.
No, that's good. I would probably align with you on that one. It did feel like a nice time away, albeit certainly a bit of a tiring one for sure. And could you even share a little bit about why do you support CMHA and Ride Don't Hide? What brings you back year after year for something like this?
Yeah, I think CMHA obviously is a great organization, and I've done a number of different fundraisers where I've donated money back to CMHA. And I just like how they, are supporting local programming right here in our community, in our province, and that's where the money is going. And, being an athlete, we always talk about the physical side of things, but the mental health, I think, is just as equal of a piece of the pie, if not even more. Because if you're not doing well mentally, it affects you physically and vice versa. So, my goal has always been to try to get rid of that stigma surrounding mental health. And I felt it myself, and I didn't even know why, couldn't really explain it. And getting involved in different mental health fundraisers, and, I do some work with a little foundation that me and my friends started as well. It's just a great way to give back and connect with people and try to make it a normal conversation. It's not taboo. It's not attention seeking. It's not, weird to talk about your mental health or say, hey, I'm feeling unwell, and you mean it in a mental sense and not a physical sense. So CMHA has always, supported me in all of my endeavors. When I come up with an idea for a fundraiser, obviously if I want to be involved in Ride Don't Hide, and it's become a good partnership and been super fun over the years, and it's grown in a lot of different ways, and could not turn down the opportunity to be a part of the 330 ride. It really, it was a tough decision. I was not thinking we were going to do a super long ride this year. After last year, it was like, oh my gosh, okay, that sucked, the 140 kilometers on a mountain bike. But this year, with you in it and your brother and all of the sponsorships and everything backing this ride, we were like, yeah, okay, we have to do it. We have to see what it's about. We have to at least try.
Yeah. Well, and that was, it was so cool when all of a sudden this big team started kind of coming together, and I thought that was just amazing. But so I guess, so we left at, Saturday morning. I think we finally got going at around 7 a.m. How are you feeling Saturday? We kind of started in Selkirk. We got a bit of some speeches were said. I was a man of few words that morning for sure. I know I was just feeling like, I don't like saying things before I do something like that. I don't know, like maybe this is like a thing maybe this is how athletes feel when they're kind of doing big competitions, right? But my mind was just solely on, what I had to do that morning, that day or that weekend. So I didn't really want to say much. I think when they asked if we had something to say or if I had something to say, and I think I just said, well, drink water. And that was about it. But yeah, and then I guess we got rolling 7, which was pretty great. That first stretch, we were probably going, I think we got a good speed of about 32 kilometers an hour from Selkirk up to the Fusion Well. How did you feel in that first little bit in the morning?
Yeah, I felt good in the morning. It's always a process of trying to feel things out. But I thought we started at a good pace, and I have never really drove that road before, so it made everything like new, and I was just trying to take in the scenes, see everything, and enjoy what would come, because I really had no idea what to expect.
Yeah, I think that was kind of nice about it, is that it's been a while since I've ridden that area of the province before. I was familiar with the area of Gimli in cabin country. I've ridden there a little bit. But yeah, I would agree. It was kind of nice not knowing, we didn't know what we didn't know, which is kind of nice. And then I guess Gimli was kind of our first big rest stop, which was great. Your sandwiches were amazing. Really appreciated that. That was awesome.
That was, that was the most important part of the ride for me. It was making sure we had enough food and eating basically like every half an hour.
And we talked about this prior, right? Is that we're both extremely food motivated.
Yes.
Because people think like, it's a long time on your bike, and it truly is. And when you think about some of the things that go through my mind, and I'll let Emily sort of kind of share her thoughts too. But when I'm riding or doing something for a long time, I'm thinking about like burgers and the next thing I'm going to eat. Because really, you just have so much time to think, and so you just start thinking about something that's going to taste good.
Me personally, on my watch at least, said I burn like 5,000 calories each day. So at that point, it's kind of hard to make up all of that in a day. You can try your hardest, but yeah, I've been enjoying the meals we had after each ride. Having good meals, pretty much whatever you want. And then the last few days as well, just getting my calories in whatever way I can to try to get yourself back feeling good, because you're not pushing yourself super hard throughout the ride so you can't breathe or talk, but sustaining that for 6+ hours a day, it all adds up, right? So I've become a master of eating while riding a bike, so it's great.
As you're talking about this ride, it really inspires me to think like, Emily, what's the difference between training for a ride like this and then training and maintaining your routine with basketball?
Yeah, to be honest, I did not train a ton of bike riding specific stuff for this ride. And I didn't really do a ton last year either. I'm still doing, all of my basketball workouts and weight workouts, and trying to, get in the gym or outside shooting and doing stuff like that. And I think the biggest thing for me was trying to incorporate like slow, steady state workouts, whether that be like the elliptical or a bike ride or, a jog or even a walk, to get your heart rate up to what it was like kind of when we were on the bike. And I don't think a workout's ever going to hurt you, to prepare for a bike ride. And I don't think that you need to be super scared that you can't, attempt or do a bike ride. It's not like starting a marathon. I think it's a lot more of an accessible sport and activity to get into, doing cycling and biking. And that's why I think it's definitely more fun than running a marathon. Then you get to enjoy, other people, and still be able to talk and socialize and take breaks and enjoy things along the way when you're riding. But yeah, I mean, when you're in the ride, when you're in the moment, you do have to focus on some things. And there are times when it gets hard, or you're at the front of the line and you're facing a tailwind and you just have to push through, and it's, just one foot in front of the other, and do your, 5 kilometers at the front of the pack and prioritize that, and then take your rest at the back.
I like what you said there about a workout's never going to hurt you. And I think that can be a big barrier that a lot of people have when they're training for something, is that you think of what's the optimal routine that's possible, that I can possibly do to train the absolute best I can to be optimally there. But if you're thinking too much about that, you might end up overcommitting and getting overwhelmed. And when people are trying to get in shape or get more fit, or when they're riding in their particular way that they're riding this year, you really want to have that consistency. And so this is about Ride Don't Hide is about getting started, connecting with others. It's about reconnecting with things that you've done in the past. And I really like that. That's going to stick with me, that a workout never hurts you. Because I keep trying to find my own way of, like, if I want to work out, I tend to overcommit, squat, deadlift way too heavy, end up injuring myself, and then I'm lying on the couch for a little while without being able to work out. But just doing a little bit, and each of those workouts has helped in some way. So thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure. And, you never regret a hard workout at the end of it, even though at the beginning, if you felt like, you didn't want to do it. But then also with the pandemic, not everyone's going to be at the same spot. And I definitely wasn't, last summer, just working out at home and then trying to go overseas and play basketball professionally. To the children or people that are getting back into their team sports or whatever activities they're in, you can't expect to go immediately back to where you were, right? Like, you have to just give your best on that specific day. And I think we did that with the ride really well, especially on the second day, is give our best that day. The first day was kind of more, I guess, feeling things out, and I had no idea what to expect. But then that second day, I really felt like we gave our best that day.
Yeah, I would think so too. And I felt like we were a little bit more in sync on the second day. Just for people listening, we did, the times were actually pretty similar on both days. So I have total ride time on day one of, about just over 6 hours, about 6 hours and like 20 minutes or so. And then on the second day, we were about 5 hours and 45 minutes or so. Average speed day one heading up 26 kilometers an hour approximately. Average speed day two heading down about 28 kilometers actually. So a little bit quicker on the day two. But yeah, I would agree. I think everything was kind of a little bit easier on day two. We knew a little bit more what to expect. And I think like the big piece is that, we had good nutrition on day one. We weren't starting, our ride crew was mentioning to not start at a calorie deficit on day two. So to make sure we ate a lot, and we definitely ate a lot. I certainly felt bloated. That jersey actually felt like it was tighter at the end of the day than it started. So, but I think like one of the best memories for me was that that moment when we finished and we realized we made it up there. That was pretty cool, getting straight to the point. It's kind of funny because we drove right past Gull Harbor, which is where we were staying. And then I think we all just so badly wanted to turn in, but as a collective, we sort of, I think very, with our sad faces, all agreed that, okay, we're going to keep going right till the end. And we drove past what was later on the lake that we could jump into to go all the way to the end there. And then how fantastic was it when we climbed up the tower?
Yeah, I thought that was a joke. So, we get to the point and I immediately take off my shoes. I'm just in my socks. I'm like, this feels fantastic. Not to be wearing clip-in shoes anymore for my bike. And there's a great tower to really overlook the point and all the water. And I don't know, was it Jordan's idea to go to the top and bring our bikes, or yours?
It might have been between him and I, yeah.
Yeah, and so you guys were going to do it, and we were going to stay, me and my sister Becky were going to stay down at the bottom, and I'm like, well, they start carrying their bikes up these stairs, like obviously we can't just let them do that and not join in. And thankfully our bikes are very nice and light.
Yeah. It was really funny because that was where that likely a little bit of that competitive nature, because I know you and your sister are competitive people. I don't know, maybe that came out a little bit. I don't know, like it would have been hard to watch two people climb up the tower and not have the full team go, It was almost like this like little competition right at the end, which I thought was kind of funny. but certainly worth it because we got a sweet photo at the top of the tower with us all lifting our bikes up and whatnot. So that was good.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. It was definitely worth it, especially for the pics.
Yeah.
I saw that picture and I was just floored, just thinking of all the conversations me and Brandon have had before the podcast, during the podcast, after the podcast, texts back and forth as we've gone together on the podcast journey and Brandon's doing this. It's just so incredible to see the result, and thank you both of you and your Brandon, your brother, Emily, your sister, for climbing up the tower and doing that at the end, because I think that's so inspiring just to see that photo. I almost cried. I was like, this is something really special here. So thank you for that. And I was thinking too, if I was in that moment and I got that sense when I'm seeing that, I can picture like all the emotions of you just being so proud, and this is one of the highlights of your whole life, honestly. I mean, it would be for me. So yeah. What an incredible journey that we've been on. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Emily, for all you've done, for all you continue to do and all you will do for youth mental health, for stigma reduction, for fundraising, and in your professional careers. So thank you so much. This has been an incredible journey, and the journey isn't over for Ride Don't Hide 2021. We're still looking for donations as you complete your ride virtual this year, and you will hear later from Stephen how you can continue to be involved in Ride Don't Hide 2021. So thank you so much for this incredible conversation, and thank you. Hi, everyone. It's James. I'm here with Stephen. He's going to talk to us a little bit about the past week's events, Spirit Week, Ride Don't Hide 2021, and we have a special surprise that Stephen will be sharing as well. So welcome, Stephen.
Hey, James. It's so great to be with you.
Yeah, this is awesome. So do you want to share some of the exciting stuff that's been going on? What's on your mind lately?
Absolutely. Well, I just wanted to thank everybody who's listening and who's gone to our landing page, ridedon'thide.com/Manitoba. You've heard that 100,000 times, which is great. And people have gone to the site. They've engaged in all the different Spirit Week activities, from bannock making to why our pets are really important to biking tips, so many great things, coloring. We're so thrilled that we had a contest for people to do that handlebar poster and post it on social media. So thank you for everyone who's done that. There's no question that the 330 ride was one of the most epic events that happened, and I had the pleasure of tagging along with the 4 extremely gifted cyclists, along with the crew that helped maintain and support bike wellness, and also our participants that were doing the 330 ride. It was absolutely incredible. Great weather, great enthusiasm. You know, we really appreciated all the support of Co-op, and for our friends at Birchwood. Gull Harbor Inn, accommodations and food was just fantastic. But mostly we really appreciate the support that we got from those on social media. They engaged in our Instagram, live events. And yeah, it was truly extraordinary. What makes this even more exciting is we often think that Ride Don't Hide 2021 is over after our Spirit Week. And I don't know about you, James, but I sometimes get to the dance a little bit late. So I'm really excited. I make a pledge for something, and like time just passes because we have full lives. We have so many competing priorities. And so sometimes that goal just kind of stands there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for me, I've gotten a few people on my side, but there's definitely some more opportunities there to be able to explore. And I think if I can show them these are the people, Emily and Brandon's brother, Emily's sister, who went along for the 3:30 ride. This is the kind of stuff that you want to show people, that like, this is how we're going to make those connections. Like, look what they've done, look what we can do, and it's all together.
Yeah, people are really interested in the tangibles, right? So what was the outcome? And so they went from Selkirk to Hecla and back. And so we get to relive these moments. Spirit Week will continue for the entire month of July. All the different teachings, all the different activities are all online. People can engage in them at their own pace. People can still donate to ridedon'thide.com. 2021 is still open till the end of July. So July 31st, we close the donor drive platform. And the month of July, we are focusing on our new integrated youth hub in the West Broadway neighborhood. And so we're just thrilled that we are one of those 5 youth hubs in Manitoba. And with that comes an exorbitant amount of cost. And so the first week of July, the first full week of July, what we're focusing on is computers for our participants. So when youth are coming to the youth hub to do employment support searches, resumes, budgeting, anything that requires a computer, we want to make sure that they have access. So we've set a goal of $10,000 that we want to raise. That again, this is for ridedon'thide.com, but this is specifically for the first full week of July. That's our goal of $10,000. Now, the second full week, because I know people like to get things in pairs, the second full week is all about our cultural programming. So whether it's ceremony, whether it's feast, whether it's language, art, the Indigenous cultural enhancement of our youth integrated program is essential. And so we've also set a goal for the second week of July of $10,000. So the first 2 weeks, we're looking to raise that $20,000. Right now, we are like 51% of our 100,000 goal. And I know that we, by the end of July, we'll reach that. I myself have waited for July to hit because I get super excited. So we call it Ride Don't Hide plus Spirit Week plus. And so everybody's invited to continue that. So whether you've set a goal and you haven't reached that, for some, they wanted to create a team. Create a team. Again, you can still move more, you can give more. We want people to feel better. Now that restrictions are lifted and people are engaging with one another, what a great opportunity to talk about how our mental health and well-being is, and also support the CMHA Manitoba Winnipeg office with all the incredible youth programming that we do. I also want to give a shout out to our friends in the Interlake Eastern branch, the folks in Parkland and the folks in Thompson. You know, collectively, they've raised over $20,000 for the whole of those 3, and so that's extraordinary. You know, that together we're just above that $70,000 mark of the 140. So we're halfway there of our goal. I know that the folks in Thompson have reached their goal and surpassed that goal of 10,000. But I encourage all our listeners, our audience, to go to ridedon'thide.com/Manitoba. You've heard from James. You've heard from Emily. You've heard from our incredible ambassador this year, Brandon, of their epic ride. And again, head over to our social media sites because you'll see pictures and video of just them doing it. It's pretty extraordinary to think that 4 individuals, along with the support of 2 others, committed themselves for 2 full days for the promotion of mental health for youth and to raise funds for youth. So we couldn't be more proud here at the CMHA. As I give leadership to youth mental health promotion, I am just blown away at the engagement of our communities, the engagement of our staff, our donors, our sponsors. It's just been such a successful campaign this year. And thanks, James, for committing yourself and for Brandon to this podcast to really highlight Ride, Don't Hide and those 8 dimensions of wellness.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we were talking today about some of the different dimensions of wellness, and I think it's so important, the spiritual wellness, which we're talking about today, which can be about connecting with something that's meaningful for yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to be religious, but it's something that's a higher purpose. And so I think with the 330 ride, that those 4 incredibly gifted individuals, those 4 incredibly committed and athletic and inspired individuals, they were all connecting with something that is a higher meaning, and that was to promote youth mental health. It's so crucial.
Yeah, and if you were on the ride with us, you would have seen the beauty of our province and the beauty of the land that has been left for us by the First Peoples. And it's just astounding. Like Hecla Village, it's like a postcard. And to see these 4 riders, gliding down the road. It was a bumpy road though, so shout out to the folks in transportation. I think we need to get on this road development there. But it was just so picturesque. And it was what a joy to go to like an artesian well to get this water that's pumping all the 24/7. It just keeps on pumping, and to nourish our souls, to nourish our minds, because I would say a lot of this ride was real, this mental, emotional, spiritual goal of completing. I know that many of the riders they're sore, throughout the ride, but they knew what to do, right? They were coached in how to take care of themselves with their mind and their body, within the spirit that they live out every day. The wonderful personalities of each of these individuals was extraordinary. And so, yeah, the spiritual dimension of our wellness is critical. And sometimes it's about looking outside of ourselves for that support. So whether it's a tree or water, a symbol, an organized sort of religion, whatever it is, I think we have the opportunity, the invitation is there to check it out, to engage. And if this works, hey, then I think it's a home run.
I agree. Thank you so much, Stephen. This has been awesome. What an incredible event. What inspiring action. Let's take this energy and move it forward, and let's commit to seeing out the end of July with a successful campaign. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who has been involved in some way in Ride, Don't Hide 2021 and Spirit Week activities. We thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. We really, truly thank you. And thank you, Emily and Brandon, for coming on the podcast today. Thank you, Stephen, for helping us guide us where to go to continue the efforts. RideDon'tHide.com/Manitoba. Thank you.